I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody, this year I'm going to be tearing down this DirecTV set-top box. So it's made by Macrovision. I'm not 100% certain. There's three patent numbers on here. And DirecTV, blah blah blah. It's an old DirecTV analog satellite set-top box. Here's a look at the back of it. Got this from a neighbor years ago. It's funny. If y'all look carefully at this thing, it may look familiar. Yes, the TiViBox Slim is built in one of these things. Yep, that's exactly right. And I'm planning on gutting this thing to perhaps build a second TiViBox Slim. So, let's get started. We're going to have to take off some, just to get inside we're going to take this panel off, but to get the circuit board out we're going to have to take off several other things. We'll get to that. So, we'll just pull up the Torx bit on this thing here. And we should be able to get these screws out. These are not security bit screws. It's interesting, some of these set-top boxes actually have security bit screws on, which is crazy. But anyways, stuck together pretty good. If I remember correctly, this normally would just slide. Oh, I see what the issue is. It's a dang sticker. Well, I guess we ain't gonna have warranty on this thing no more, guys, because this sticker's coming off. Void. Alright. Well, yep. And off it comes. So you can tell this thing was at one point in a smoker's home, because it definitely has some tint to it that, of course, cigarette smoke will cause. And thing's kind of dirty inside, but oh well. It's kind of late. I don't feel like going out and digging out the air compressor just to clean this thing out. But just going to check a few points here and make sure I don't have any stored voltage, just to be safe. Check around the power supply area. You know the drill. Yeah, the power supply on this one's built right into the I think we're fine. Just probe in random spots, see if I get anything. I don't think I got too much to worry about here. Alright, so there's not really much to this thing. I think this thing may work sort of like a system on chip in a way. Because we have, get that filthy dust off of there. We have a Broadcom BCM, I think. I can't tell because there's freaking writing all over it. Well, to be honest, guys, if you go back and look at a previous video I posted, I did post another video tearing apart one just like this, I think. Well, I mean, the casing was identical, but maybe the internals were a little different. I don't know for sure. But you may, if you go back and look at that, you may be able to look up the specific chip info. Okay, so BCMZ 312. Crap. So it's a Broadcom chip of some sort that I think runs this whole board in a way. There's other Broadcom chips in here as well. I think all this thing really did was it would capture a satellite signal and just decode it and display it on your TV more or less, and offer a basic user interface and what have you. Not too much more than that. I see we have a failed capacitor on there. It's a Leland capacitor. Leland was one of the brands that suffered from capacitor failure back in the early 2000s whenever this thing was made. I want to guess this thing is probably from maybe 2000, 2001, probably sometime around then. Let's look at the internals. Okay, so if memory serves me right, it's a couple of snaps and the front should come right off. Because I gotta get this front order. Okay, there's a few more snaps. So, because I kind of need to get this front off of here, so that way I can also gut out the it snapped it back on there. Get this front polished off here, so that way I can gut out all the stuff that's behind here as well, which is not a whole lot. Now I was thinking, what would be cool, what would be pretty interesting, is if I could actually retrofit the controls on the front of this thing to be able to work with, for example, navigating the YouTube lean back. I mean, it's like a Roku remote in a way. You have your up, down, left, right, and your select. But it'd be pretty tricky, I would think, because I'd have to have some sort of device to interface with the motherboard, probably via USB, that would be able to function like that. And that's just a little too much, I think, for what I plan to do with this thing. So I'm planning on trying to cram a laptop motherboard in here. Yes, a laptop motherboard. And see if that would work. Now it would be kind of a custom fit, just like the other TiViBox Slim. And of course, on the TiViBox Slim, I completely gutted the whole back off of this thing, and it was able to mount a mini ITX motherboard with the AMD E-Series APU out of a HP. Small, just a basic HP desktop. Okay, so let's see if we can get these off of here. Okay, so I was able to loosen these up with the famous needle nose pliers, as I call them. And we can take these off. Yeah, these need to be removed in order to remove the main board, as well as these daughter boards, or at least this one daughter board that's in here. And it's funny, you look in the back of this thing and you see two video outs and two sets of audio outs. You got an S video out, and you got your channel 3 and channel 4. This is that way you could hook up a game or whatever, and select a certain channel that's the dead channel, more or less, I think. No, excuse me, I had that backwards. This would be like the device. You would hook up via coax to your old TV, and you would set your TV to channel 3 or channel 4. So if you look at like VCRs and stuff, they typically have this stuff too, I think. And you also got a USB port, which I'm not sure exactly what that was used for. And you have a phone jack. So I think these older I know the older TiVos and older DVRs from the time, a lot of times they would connect via dial-up connection to download updates and stuff like that, like guide updates and what have you. Now, some of the DirecTV boxes, they had the phone jack for doing, I guess, maybe a similar thing, but also being able to display caller ID on your television screen. It's a little bit different than, let's say, having Spectrum TV and phone, where the Spectrum TV service would display the phone number on the screen. Now, I had a similar setup like this back when I was Media Center going on the TiViBox systems, or at least the one that was in the living room at my parents' place years ago, using a piece of software called W7 Caller ID. Had the modem installed into Black Max, and the modem, and it's funny, they still use this actually for call blocking and stuff like that. It's pretty neat actually. And what it would do is anytime the phone would ring, it would display the caller ID of the caller on the TV screen, like it would if, let's say, if we was subscribed to Spectrum phone and Spectrum TV at the same time. Pretty neat little thing. Okay, so this little add-on card comes out, and it has these two coax connections. So you have your you have an input and output. And your satellite in is actually down here. So perhaps this off-air in can be used for maybe a device that uses uses a RF signal, like an old game, or maybe a VCR that doesn't have your composite or whatever. Excuse me, guys, it's late. Just want to go ahead and open this thing up pretty quick on video. Alright, so we got some more screws to take out here. Yeah, this thing works really good when you charge it back up. Oh, that's great. So our second add-on board is out, and this is for interfacing with the phone company. That just plugs into the main board with this little ribbon cable. Here's you a close-up of that. And here is a close-up of this little add-on board for the off-air in and the out to TV. And of course, this little thing is made by none other than Samsung. See what else we have here. Okay, we have another screw that has to come out. It's been a while. It's definitely been a minute since I took apart the other one. Remember exactly how it came apart. Let's see what else here. Is there there's anything else that has to come out? Bend that out of the way because I don't care for it. Don't need it anymore. I think I'm going to use an LED to replace its function. Kind of like I did with the other TiViBox Slim. I'll use this I'll just put a LED here where the power button used to be. Well, I might stick it over here, I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet because I don't think that laptop motherboard I'm going to use this, I don't think it has a hard drive indicator lamp, so I may stick the LED there this time. And who knows, I might be able to sandwich a power button behind this to actually be able to let this function as a power button. Anyways, I'll figure that out when I get to it. Okay, let's see if anything else has to come out. Let's go ahead and disconnect these cables. Let's go look carefully to see if it looks like, okay, so what we have to do is the way they installed this board is they set it in and they twisted these little pieces of metal to lock the board into place. Kind of a crappy design, I think. I think using screws would be a much better approach to this. So there's these little bitty tabs. I just bent one straight there, but what they do is they set the board and they take these straight tabs and bend them to where they touch up against this little pad. That's to provide a ground source. So let's see how many more of those we have on there. And we have another one right here. So I'm still thinking about how I'm going to actually mount the laptop motherboard in here. What I might do is I might actually cut out the section of the laptop body that houses the motherboard as well as the I/O in the back. I haven't exactly decided on that just yet. Like I say, it's still kind of new. Exactly how I'm going to do this. New concept anyway. Alright, let's see if this thing's going to come out. So there's only, get this, only two little tabs that actually hold the board in. The rest of it is the bolts on the back for the coax and a couple of miscellaneous screws. Once that's out, the entire board will come right out. Okay, so the board is out, and we had this little plastic insulator under the high voltage part where the power supply is. So this is a switching power supply on this side, and the rest of the board is over here. And if we spin this around, it gives you another view of it. There's your pretty decent view of it right there. Oh, I mean, it's like a little computer more or less. I think it's like a system on chip. I think that's primarily the brains of this whole thing. Handles the probably the graphical interface as well as descrambling and displaying the satellite signal. I mean, it was analog, so it probably didn't need as much of a processor to handle that. I mean, this is before this wasn't even high definition, so not too much, nothing too spectacular there. So again, just two tabs that lock this whole thing in. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so on the front we have just these membrane buttons, or whatever you want to call them. Now I'm going to be ripping all this out of here, and yeah, I'm going to be taking this all out actually. Somehow I might be able to I don't know, might be able to stick a button on there for the power. I'll probably stick the power button actually in place of where the power button used to be on this thing. And so when you look at the front, where this infrared receiver is, I'll take all this out and I can stick an LED in there to function as the power LED. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll be able to mount the laptop motherboard inside this chassis, and this time instead of taking out the entire back, I'm going to try to leave some of this in here. I'll use some tin snips or something to try to keep at least the sides in here. That way I can fasten the cover back on this thing the way it's supposed to go. Because let me tell you, getting into the TiViBox Slam, the existing one, is a real pain. And also, I'll see about opening this up a bit somehow to where I could. Well, I mean, if I can, my thing is, if I can easily get access to this thing, I won't need to worry about getting access through here. I'm just thinking about a way I can easily insert and uninstall a solid state drive or hard disk. But anyways, that's kind of for a different video. But so that kind of I think that wraps this up. So that's a teardown of another one of these DirecTV set-top boxes. So anyways, there's a cover. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Well, everybody, that's it for this video. But don't forget, there's a lot more interesting stuff on the channel to check out. Also, if this is your first time visiting this channel, feel free to subscribe to keep your channel. And also, don't forget to tick the bell so that way you'll get notified of new video posts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. But if you really didn't like it, there is the alternative option available as well. Also, feel free to check out my second channel, CubeComp MTDX. There you'll find videos about bicycling, weather, elevator tours, and all sorts of other neat, interesting stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to come back, and thank you for your support.